Hello, Pauper fans. This is Mathonical, and you are joining me for round 2 with Slivers. Opening hand is absolutely amazing. There's not a single thing I would change about this. We've got our mutagenic growth for surprise, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Just have to find a time to play our tapped land. Very happy keeping this one. We're going to start with our untapped lands to get our creatures out, because this deck does run a lot of untapped lands, so there's good chances that we will possibly draw just an untapped green source. So we're going to play that as a way of keeping our hand going out fast. Sure enough, we do draw a green source, allowing us to play our Muscle Sliver. We're going to want to play the green source just because we may have the opportunity to go like double white spells at some point in the future. And, a bit of removal. That may disrupt us a little bit, but this is what Lead the Stampede is for, is to keep us on gas. Here we do have the option of either Lead the Stampede or 2 Slivers, since we drew the plated sliver, and I definitely always go with the extra slivers. We are an aggro deck, and we want to get it for the damage as soon as possible. So here we're just going to go for a predatory sliver. It would keep the pressure on our opponent. And turns out he does have a counter spell, but we're just going to jam in there now. We don't want to jam in first, just in case he had a removal spell. That would have disrupted our plans. He might have been going for a trade of some sort. Going to try and cast a Lead the Stampede. He does have a counter spell. He still has mana up to remove something, so we're definitely going to play the plated sliver first, just to keep our creatures alive in case he does a removal spell, which he does. So this bodes very well for us now. We're basically looking to win with mutagenic growth, but our opponent unfortunately does not find any answers, and we are able to win the first game. Jumping on over to game number 2, we'll take a quick look at the sideboard. For the blue-black matchup, we don't really need to do much. We're already somewhat favored if they don't manage to get some removal going and then some kind of Gurmag Angler to get in our way. So basically I just want to bring in the Rilla Progenitus to slow them down a little bit towards that Gurmag Angler and to cut off any of their value out of their graveyard, essentially. And I just take out 1 mutagenic growth. Since they're not trying to kill us with burn or minus effects that often, we don't really need all of the mutagenic growths. So we'll take a quick look at our opening hand. And this is an absolutely amazing hand, once again. This time even all of our lands enter on tap, so we got to turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Excellent curve. We're going to go ahead and keep this one. Our opponents unfortunately did have to mulligan down to 3, or well 4, and then it's pretty unfortunate. Although it is a pretty good fighting hand so far. He was able to remove our turn 1 play. But we're just going to follow it up with a Muscle Sliver. Another Muscle Sliver is excellent. We could have played a Lead the Stampede there just because there's no counter magic, but as you'll notice, I'll always try and get out the threats as soon as possible to keep them on the back foot, trying to answer what we have going on. And then that way we can always refill later on with our Lead the Stampedes. Keeping up Vines is excellent for us. And I really do believe that our opponent should have used the Doomblade at Sorcerer Speed, even though we were representing Vines, because here it gives us the opportunity to kick the Vines to get in for some extra damage. We could always cast it for 1 to protect it and get the lead online, but we just want to get as much damage in as possible, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. Already got our opponent down to 8, so things are looking quite good, and this time he does cast the Doomblade at Sorcery Speed. But we're going to go ahead and cash in one of our Lead the Stampedes, and we did find quite a few creatures, which is excellent for us. We do play 30 creatures for a reason. And here we've got plenty of creatures online. A Gurmag Angler would normally be good enough to stop us, but we just loaded our hand with a Lead the Stampede, so we're able to get a ton of creatures online, enough to go lethal even around the Gurmag Angler. This game did look a little lopsided because our opponents unfortunately did have to mulligan quite low, but Slivers definitely do punish that. Thank you for watching this one. I'll see you in round 3.